This is a great news for Peel residents. So ਜਿਹੜਾ 911 ਦਾ call wait time ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ reduce ਕਰਕੇ 14 second ਕਰਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ. So 14 second that was the target by the Peel region police. ਜੋ industry standard ਹੈ National Emergency Association ਦੀ ਤਰਫ ਤੋਂ 15 second ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ industry ਦਾ standard ਹੈ. But Peel police has reached the above the standards. So 14 seconds 911 call wait times. ਸੋ ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਜਨ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਜਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਕਾਲਸ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਐਮਰਜੈਂਸੀ ਨੋਨ ਐਮਰਜੈਂਸੀ ਕਾਲਸ ਔਰ ਪੀਪਲ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਔਰ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਜ ਜੋ ਵੇਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੈ 14 ਸੈਕਿੰਡ ਕਰਤਾ ਗਿਆ। ਅਗਰ ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਬਿਜ਼ੀਐਸਟ ਰੀਜਨ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ 57 ਸੈਕਿੰਡਸ ਵੀ ਹੈ ਵੇਟ ਟਾਈਮ, 37 ਸੈਕਿੰਡਸ ਤੱਕ ਵੀ ਵੇਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੈਗਾ ਔਰ ਕੁਝ ਕਾਲਸ 'ਚ 12 ਮਿੰਟ ਤੱਕ ਵੀ ਵੇਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਤਾਂ 14 ਸੈਕਿੰਡ ਤੱਕ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਾਲ ਵੇਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨ ਨੇ ਅਚੀਵ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਿਸਯੂਜ਼ ਆਫ 911 ਕਾਲਸ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਸੈਗਰੀਗੇਟ ਕਰਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਚੀਫ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਇੱਕ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਐਕਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਉसी ਸੇਮ ਲੋਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੋਂ ਅਗਰ 15 ਜਣੇ ਕਾਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਉਹ ਲੋਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਰੇਟਰਸ ਨੂੰ 911 ਸੈਂਟਰ 'ਚ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਆ ਸਾਰੀ ਇੱਕ ਐਕਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਕਰਕੇ 15 ਕਾਲਸ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ। ਸੋ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਉਹ ਵੇਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਵੀ ਘਟੇਗਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੱਕ ਕਾਲ ਉਹ ਐਡਰੈਸ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੇਮ ਲੋਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਨਾਲ। ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ ਇਜ਼ ਪਲੇਇੰਗ ਅ ਬਿਗ ਪਾਰਟ ਐਂਡ ਰੀਅਲੀ ਅ ਕਮੈਂਡੇਬਲ ਜੌਬ ਬਾਈ ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਬਾਈ ਯੂਜ਼ਿੰਗ education, technology and people. So this is a great effort. Let's see the full report.
Today marks a pivotal milestone in our collective efforts to enhance the safety and well-being of all residents across Peel. The 78% reduction in 911 waiting times is nothing short of remarkable. Let me say that again. A 78% reduction in the waiting time for 911 calls. It stands as a testament to the bold leadership, strategic planning, and the unwavering efforts of our police services and municipal partners.
Usually that's very newsworthy. When something's broken, it makes news headlines. What I think equally should make news headlines is when a challenge is solved. And Chief Nish, Deputy Adwari, and the Peel Police have done an extraordinary job with the challenge that was presented to them. And I believe fundamentally it's through education, staffing, and new technology that was very innovative. 78% reduction, that's extraordinary. It shows that if you give Chief Nish the resources to solve a problem, he solves it. 78% a reduction in wait times means we're not going to hear about horrifying stories like we did from the Deal family. And if you have a home invasion in your home, you want someone to pick up right away. You want officers to come to the scene. Abandoned callback technology will immediately call back a caller that dialed 911 and hung up. The caller will be able to choose to connect to 911 if there's an emergency or cancel the call if that is called by accident. And past 911 communicators were required to manually call back each 911 hang-up, which contributed to delays. Well done, Peel Police. With the right resources, they can solve any public safety challenge in Peel region.
This morning, 911 call times have decreased, and we're almost up to the 80% mark, which builds on, even in 2023, before the year concluded, a 17% reduction in times. And the mayor is right. This is about people, education, and technology that have seen an impact. It's now, listen, waiting on hold on 911 by any means is not acceptable. But to see us down from over a minute and a half, 2 minutes average time to now to 14 seconds is quite a remarkable change here. And it would not have been possible without the education campaigns. You know, Mayor's right. We talked about somebody calling 911 to say that their Tim Hortons coffee was cold, or that there was a cat stuck in the window. Meanwhile, people are backed up in the queue, suffering from real emergencies in our community that needed to get to us. So today I'm going to explain to you a little bit about why and how this happened. Things like the concept of next generation 911. But I want to be clear, right now while we're doing this press conference, there are women and men in our 911 communications center. We call them the first of the first responders, are doing remarkable work, and without the women and men in there and the team behind us, we would never be in this position. So I do want to acknowledge that the Ministry of the Solicitor General was critical in funding some of the implementation of our next generation 911. And this was through telecommunications and provincial and federal related activities that are happening.
Good morning, and this is really a great news, Chief, and all the team. As the industry standard says, the National Emergency Association says the standard is 15 seconds, and Peel Police has reached that barrier, also dropped down to 14 seconds, which is a great achievement and really a great achievement. My question is, in Toronto, the wait time is 37 seconds to 58 seconds. And what this means for the residents, because there is a program in 911 where the education, as you said, education and technology, they played a big role. So what does that mean for the resident? Because this is a dense populated area. And what is the next target? Because this target is achieved. What is the, Chief, your next target after this?
Thank you, Nitin. And just to be clear, what we're talking about is somebody being able to speak to somebody at the police department and say, I need help. There's still another half of this equation that needs to happen, and that is getting somebody in uniform to your doorstep for help. So Nitin, yes, this is a remarkable success because people need to speak to a 911 communicator or dispatcher when they need help. The second part to this is our goal as we continue to grow, and you're right, the densification of Peel Region is remarkable. If you listen to Chair Unica, the population of Halifax to be added to this region in the next 5 years, the number of registered and unofficial vehicles on the road means it takes harder and longer time for us to get to. But can I tell you, back to the earlier discussion is public safety sometimes needs a push and it needs investment. This is a perfect example of how we've been able to do that. But you're right, the public still expects to see either a paramedic, firefighter, or police officer at their greatest time in need. Our continued goal is to make sure that we holistically serve the public in exactly that way, that they see us when they need their help and don't have to wait.
Thank you. Follow-up is for Chair Unica. Peel Region, residents want to see the vehicles, the decals, the stickers on that. It's quite alarming of the weapons, even though those are the decals, but still residents have many concerns on that. So what is your plan to remove those from the streets? Because we talk to the ministries, we talk to the region, everybody. So what is your plan? Because residents don't want to feel safe when they see decals of weapons on the vehicles. Thank you.
Very good question, of great concern. I'll introduce it by saying I understand that's regulated by the MTO, but I don't know if the chief or the deputy can top that up for me. I know it's an issue that comes up from time to time. Chief, if you've got anything further you can add to that.
Well, and then, listen, I think we're all challenged by the ability for people to use a variety of platforms to use images, communicate themes, whatever they're advocating for. And yes, vehicles and, branding on vehicles is an issue. Unfortunately, it is something that has to be regulated through provincial legislation and Highway Traffic Act. The one tool we do have is if it crosses the line into hate and anything threatening, we have the tools and abilities to do that. But in this case, it is unfortunately one of those areas that are out of our control until there is an overriding way to prohibit them.
No, I think everything was covered, and obviously that would be up to MTO to regulate. Chief Nish and the police have to follow the laws as they are written and enforce them to the full extent of the law. But if that's not in the criminal code, then it's not in the criminal code.
Well, this is a massive win for public safety. A year ago we were struggling with 911 wait times that were unacceptable. Today we celebrate a 78% reduction. The approach we've taken is a public awareness campaign, new technology, and staffing, and it has worked. And so from Peel standing out of having longer wait times, we are now a model for other regions to follow and having that quick available response to 911. The average wait time is now 14 seconds. That's a 78% reduction.
Chief, this is such a great achievement that 911 wait call times is 14 seconds. Industry standard is 15 seconds. So Peel Region Police has achieved that target.
Yes, it's a significant milestone. I think we all agree waiting any amount of time is not ideal, but from 1 year ago where people were rating average almost a minute and a half, 2 minutes to 14 seconds is a significant thing for our community to know that we've been able to make some changes. Thank you for their support. Their education has helped comply with it, but also the support of our board and mayors to get the technology we need to also solve the problem.
911 misuse calls. So how police controlled that?
The misuse calls are problematic because every time somebody calls and hangs up, we have to call them back. And do you know, Nitin, that was 75,000 calls last year alone that we had to call everyone back. Now the technology allows automated callback. And when the automated callback happens, the person can say, I do really need help, or sorry, that was a mistake. And that saves one of the 911 communicators from having to manually do that, which is a huge, huge solution. And so that was one of the biggest part of the education and the technology is using other ways to solve the problem.
Chief, everybody knows that Chief Nish is a technology guy. And artificial intelligence, is that also playing a role in next gen?
We do have an ability for some of the language processing to use artificial intelligence to be able to say that this is a person that needs help or not need help. Also, the artificial intelligence has helped us. For example, if we saw a bad accident across the road, 15 people might call from the same location. The technology now is able to process they're all coming from the same area, and that means we know that we can prioritize which one. So yes, the technology is a big solution for us.
That's a good point you mentioned. And finally, from the location where the accident happened and there is an emergency, can that be done through a video call with the operator?
Very soon, the federal legislation and the CRTC will be phasing in elements that we will have to be capable of receiving photos or video or FaceTime live stream, which is part of the long-term plan everywhere in Canada for police to be able to receive that. Right now, there are lesser ways to get text messages through, but eventually, very soon, in the next coming years, it'll have to be video too.
Okay. Chief, Road Watch program is a very important program. And community members, we got a lot of calls. They are contributing, they are reporting that they are using that tool by reporting on the Road Watch program. But they have a complaint that there is no update or no result of their complaint. They want to know about this.
Yeah, it's very frustrating for the public to not know the outcome of their complaint. And so one of the things we've had to do this year is consolidate our online reporting staff into a brand new online reporting bureau that's been in together since June. They're going to have the ability to do more follow-up on all those online requests. Previously, it got entered into the system and then it would take some time before it was processed. Now we're going to see greater efficiency. So my message to the public is we know that it's frustrating. We're hoping that in this next several months in the year, they will start seeing quicker responses to Road Watch.
That's good. Thank you. Your final message to the resident of Peel.
I want to thank the residents of Peel. We know that there are pressures in the community, but they need to know that our government, our police services board, our mayors, and the police service are all fully intent on making sure we can resolve these problems.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next generation technology is essentially mandated for all of Canada by the CRTC. It allows us to go from copper telephone lines to IP way of doing business. And so it allows more data to come in. We can process more data. We can understand facts better. We can sort out emergencies from non-emergencies. And it allows us to answer the call in a more efficient manner. So you saw that in the most timely need of someone's life a year ago. They were likely on hold for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And now you see that wait time down to about 14 seconds. In fact, we're steadily decreasing that time as we continue to recruit and hire more people, as we implement new processes, and as we educate our community. It is one of the lowest. We're meeting our standards, or just about to meet the standards. Of course, there are other areas in Canada which has lower populations, lower needs, less emergencies, and of course they can answer the phone in real time. You will see in more populous areas like within the GTA, we are one of the busiest call centers in all of Canada, and so our wait times are very impressive right now compared to other large services that have large populations. But let me tell you this, we're not satisfied with the wait times. There should be no wait when you call 911, and we are working diligently to be able to make that wait time 0 seconds when somebody calls. While through public education, you heard the mayor and the chief talk about it. If you drive around the region of Peel, you'll see signs everywhere. We launched a very progressive social media campaign last year, which has had millions of views highlighting some of the misuse. So that education to our community has decreased the number of misuse calls, but also the technology identifies misuse calls on the front end, so we can better off-ramp those calls and get to the 911 calls faster.
We need some more police officers to address this. And I also want to give Mayor Brown a great deal of credit for saying it's high time we started hiring more officers. The thought I want to leave you with, and I leave it with my call, I've been around a long time, as you know. In all the years that I've been around, going back to the 80s, Patrick, you too, boy, I've been to a lot of ribbon cuttings for a new hockey arena. I've been to a lot of ribbon cuttings for a new library. I've been to a lot of ribbon cutting for a community center, EMS facility, etc. Since I started, 11 division, 12 division, 21 division, 22 division. Finally broke ground on 23. And with the chief's great work, and I want to give a shout out to the mayor Parish, Councillor Dasco, maybe we're looking at a new one in the south. So you learn a long time ago in economics that you reach a point of diminishing returns. Because if they don't, you could feed the whole world from one clay pot. Just keep adding water and fertilizer. We're way past that. And Mayor Brown, I want him to speak to this. He was one, if you haven't even got the buildings to put the people in, what are you hiring more cops for? So we have been way behind, and only now, and I give the mayor a great deal of credit because he was one of the people really pushed it. It's high time that we start devoting the resources, the capital, and the bodies that you need, because we've got new technology, isn't it great? And he reminded me, Patrick, when you said, but you still need, and the chief said, you still need the people to get in the car and get out there. So you're going to see that we are being very aggressive in a capital program and getting the individuals to service it so that we've got somebody to take advantage of the technology and get out there far quickly than in the past. But Patrick, I want you